What's up, guys? It's Sean with the Shine Football Channel, and today I have for you part 2 of the Premier League roundup that we have kind of for the first 7 games of the season. As I said, we're pretty much a fifth of the way through, minus 3 games. But this kind of gives us, it was a good spot to kind of gauge where every team is. We did the top 10 for 20th through 11th yesterday, and we are going to do the rest of them right now. Let's kind of start away, and we're going to start with 10th place Aston Villa, 10th place with 10 points. They are technically on the same points with Arsenal, but a 6-goal difference between them and the Gunners does kind of give you a credence to how well, honestly, Dean Smith's teams have been this season, in my opinion. I think they've been truly phenomenal as far as it goes. For Villa, for that club, this was a club that just 2 seasons ago was almost relegated, and it came down to the last game of the season. And they've been able to recuperate and reinvest and rejuvenate that squad very, very well, actually. I've been very impressed with, typically with these type of teams, when they lose that, that player that's pretty much the one-man show, which was Jack Grealish. And Jack Grealish has been fantastic for them and has been phenomenal in the league. I think they've done very well at rebuilding the team around the new squad and the new players. I think they've done very, very well, and I think Dean Smith deserves a lot of praise for what he's achieved. Moving forward, I just see them going up and up. I actually do predict Villa to finish the season somewhere between 7th to 10th. I wouldn't be super shocked if they all of a sudden do surprise somebody and do make a bid for a Champions League spot. I think currently there are just 2 or 3 teams who are better than them, but with a few more inclusions, that squad is definitely headed in the right way. Been very impressed with their style of play. They definitely have a good identity and ethos to them, and I've been very, very impressed with Dean Smith and Villa so far this season. Moving on to West Ham. David Moyes, got to give your hands up to him. Absolute ridiculous. West Ham and Villa kind of have a very similar story. Similar situation, almost relegated a few seasons ago, but David Moyes was able to keep them in, and ever since, West Ham has been absolutely fantastic. West Ham, compared to Leicester, have also been doing fantastic in the Europa League. They must be absolutely buzzing about that, and so far, it's looking good. I've been impressed, honestly. Good moving forward, good getting back, all around resolute. Against United, they most likely didn't deserve to lose that game, and they beat us in the EFL Cup. Very impressive from West Ham. Could they reach the highs of last season again? Maybe. The game against Brentford kind of showed you those difficulties. We'll get to them in a minute. I'm very excited about Brentford. You all know me. But I honestly think they're missing that Jesse Lingard-esque player who's going to be getting you those goals and assists throughout the season. And there's definitely been a step up from Declan Rice this season. Declan Rice has been an absolute monster for West Ham. And Antonio is one of the best strikers in the league, honestly. He's always has been. And it's just a matter of injuries when it comes to him. So far, so good. I think West Ham will finish. It's between 5th and 10th. It could honestly be 5th. They are good enough to finish 5th. But we'll find out. Moving on, we have Spurs. Now, this is an interesting one. Spurs is a difficult one to call. They had obviously a phenomenal start to the season. They are the only team in the top 10 with a negative goal difference, though. Which is not good, obviously. They are sitting on 12 points, 4 wins, 3 losses. But they were really bad in those losses. Like, against Chelsea, against Palace, specifically against Palace. That 3-0 against Palace was disgusting. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the league. I think Spurs actually have a possibility of being farther out of the top 10 than in the top 10, despite the fact that the points are showing this. However, the squad is fantastic. The squad on paper is a top 5 squad. There's no question about it. There's no doubt in my mind. The squad is a top 5 squad, and they are fantastic. There's no question. However, it doesn't seem like Nuno's getting the best of them. Kane hasn't scored yet. They're pretty much just being dragged by Son's genius, which is how they beat Villa last week. Just don't think enough of them. If they get Kane scoring, if the midfield starts triggering and gelling together, they're definitely set for a Europa League finish, no question about it. But that's pretty much it. I'm less inclined to believe Nuno's going to get the best out of them, though, to be completely honest. Moving on to my favorite team in the world, Brentford. What an amazing story. 3 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss. Amazing start to the season for Brentford. It's not even a question. They are going to stay in the league, and that is just a phenomenal thing for all fans of their club, and it's just a testament to what Thomas Frank and this board has been able to achieve by having this philosophy, having this culture. You're getting rewarded for it, and we've seen some absolutely amazing games from Brentford. I will give them also notice the games have been relatively on the easier side for them. They did have to play against Arsenal. They did have to play against Brighton. They did have to play against Liverpool. Played phenomenally against Liverpool. To be fair, the games haven't been too easy, to be honest, as well. They do have Chelsea coming up. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm interested to see how that game goes. I don't expect Brentford to really get pummeled that much because their defense is very mean. They've only conceded 6 goals this season. 3 of them were against Liverpool in one game where they drew 3-3. And then one of them was against Brighton in the 90th minute. Very good defense. So I've been very impressed with Brentford all season long. You guys know how much I talk about them and I love them. And I think they're going to definitely finish in the top 10 this season. And what an amazing statement that is for them. Moving on to the second surprise package of the season. And you can even argue that it's not even a surprise. They're just getting what they deserved. We saw last season, XG had Brighton as one of the top teams in the league. And I'm actually going to give you the XG of what it should have been. Brighton should have finished 5th last season. 5th. They finished 16th. That's how under their XG they performed. Ridiculous. Like, it was one of the largest gaps across the entire league as far as how poorly they performed. Unbelievable. 20 points was the difference between what they should have had. And they deserved to have it. Graham Potter is one of the best managers in the league, no question. He's doing absolutely amazing things with this Brighton squad, and they're finally getting their just rewards. Could any of these games have gone better? I think they should have beaten Arsenal, to be completely honest with you. And I don't know, the Everton game does kind of come to mind as a one-off situation. I think Brighton are going to be an absolute menace. I would love to see how they do moving forward. They have a freebie against Norwich coming up, but then it's against Manchester City, and I cannot wait to see that game. I always love to see, for both Brighton and Brentford, I'm so excited to see how they're going to match up against Chelsea, against Liverpool, against City, against United even. Whatever. But very impressed that they are going to finish in the top 10. Can they make a Europa League spot? What an amazing statement that would be for Graham Potter. Can they keep Graham Potter and Yves Bissouma? It's going to be harder and harder with each passing season. Everton, for all the Everton fans who were so negative about Rafa Benitez coming in, where are you all now? 7 games, 4 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Fantastic start to the season for you guys. Absolutely amazing, sitting in 5th place. Did any Everton fan actually think this is where you were going to be after last season, where you guys finished 10th? Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been injured for a few games, got a great result at Old Trafford. Relatively easier start to the season, you would say. Not a lot of the big teams outside of United, technically. They do have some big games coming up. Still have to play Chelsea, Liverpool, City. A lot of those games are coming, and I think they'll do actually really, really well. Rafa Benitez has shown over the years he is a phenomenal manager. There's no question about it. And I think he will secure Everton. They're always going to be between 5th and 10th. Can they finish in the Europa League spots? That's the question. It's going to come down to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, in my opinion, and Richarlison, and how much they can get out of them. So far, with how the problem with Everton has been very poor recruitment over the years. This season, Townsend, Damari Gray look fantastic. Doucouré looks like an absolute rejuvenated beast. I think they're going to do big things. I think they're going to finish somewhere between 5th and 7th, honestly. It's in that range. We'll find out. United. We're in 4th, which will most likely finish in 4th. And for all those who think, oh, Ole out, Ole in, whatever. Ole's not going anywhere. They just reinstated Mike Phelan's contract for another 3 years, showing how much faith they have in the current regime and the current setup of the club. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. They're going to stick with Ole. So I would give the fans advice, just get behind him just for your own sakes, because you're just going to get disappointed now. But 4 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss doesn't sound horrible, given that Man City have the exact same record. However, and we're only 2 points off the top of the table, it's still with everybody's within reach. There's no question about that. The only difference is United have had the easiest run across the top, between the top 4. Chelsea, Liverpool, and City have all played each other already. Yes, they've all actually played each other already. And United still haven't played any of them. United have a ridiculous run of games coming up where we have to play Leicester, Atalanta in the Champions League, Liverpool, Spurs, Atalanta again, City, Watford, Villarreal, Chelsea, Arsenal. You'd argue like Watford is the easiest game in there, I guess, but is that even an easy game? It's going to be a very, very difficult run of fixtures, and we're just going to see how well they do when they come out of it. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out of this with flying colors, we see if we're actually able to be in a title race. We have a few weeks to find out. Moving on, Manchester City, definitely the best team in the league based off performances, based off pretty much everything, in my opinion. I just think they've been the best team in the league all around. Very, very aggressive. It's going to come back to haunt them all season long is not securing a striker. Seems to be the problem that Man City are going to have moving forward. They are good enough to still win the league without a striker, which is a stupid comment to be able to say. It just gives you how good that team is. I think City will win the league. I know I predicted Chelsea in my other one, but I think City are going to win the league. They just look better than every other team. They were better than Liverpool. They were better than Chelsea. They haven't played United yet, but they will in a few weeks, and we're going to smash them. No, we're not. We're going to lose, obviously, because they are the best team in the league, and it's not even close, honestly. I think they are very comfortably the best. Liverpool and Chelsea to finish up the video. Liverpool, 15 points, the only team in the league that hasn't lost yet. 4 wins and 3 draws. I think this season, Liverpool's main problem is going to be in defense. They've conceded 6 goals so far this season, and they just don't look very comfortable in the back, to be completely honest. Given 3 of the goals were against Brentford, but 3 of the goals were against Brentford. They also conceded 2 against City, and they could have conceded more. Alisson so far has been the best goalkeeper in the league, right next to David De Gea. So, Liverpool, the only thing they do have is Mo Salah. And Mo Salah looks like an absolute freak this season. Mo Salah could win them the title. It is literally that simple. Mo Salah is the best player in the world at the moment, in my opinion. And I think that is enough of a difference because they do have enough of a clinical striker to win them and get them those goals on the off day, where City, we saw the other day, didn't. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Final team, Chelsea, going into the international break on top. I've been both disappointed and impressed with Chelsea this entire season. Some games they look absolute phenomenal, like they're going to score 1,000,000 goals and never concede, but some games they do look a little shaky, and that has been the case. I don't think they are as... I think right now, if you ask me where would you put the top three, the top four, it would be City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United being a fair distance below the others, the next three. But that's, I think, where we are with this league. And that kind of gives us a general assessment of where the league is. Chelsea, though, I think moving forward, we just need to see a little bit more. I'll give Tuchel credit. He himself has mentioned he doesn't think they've been as good as they could be either. Looking at the XG table so far for this season would be City, Liverpool, Everton, Brentford, obviously. United, Chelsea, West Ham, Wolves, Palace, and Brighton in the top 10. Spurs would be in 15th. Norwich, Newcastle, Watford, Southampton would be the top 4, the bottom 4 as well. So it kind of gives you an idea of where the teams actually are. Kind of shows United are in that 4th to 5th spot technically. Chelsea are technically based off this in the 6th spot in the league, right behind United. Showing that maybe they've gotten a little bit more rub of the green so far. But I think they've definitely been a better team than United, in my opinion. Results don't lie. That kind of gives us a summary of where the Premier League is going to be. My top 4 hasn't changed. My top 4 is going to still be United, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and I don't think that's going to change no matter what happens, really. The other teams, I just don't think they're going to be consistent enough throughout 38 games, and I just think United being the odd one out of the 4, I think they're just too good and too much quality, and they're going to have a lot of nights where they do get results and do get wins. So far, we've come up against a lot of low blocks. Let's see how we do against some teams that actually come out and play some football against us. It's going to be very interesting. But that pretty much sums up the Premier League summary and review for us. Tomorrow, we will be back with the Bundesliga. And I don't know if I'm going to do the whole league for the Bundi, but I'll definitely do the top 7 or 8 teams that we know and love. More than anything else, guys, my name is Sean O'Delly, and this is Sean O'Delly Football Channel. Love y'all. Bye.